Before that, to learn more about my company, head over to Kannex.ca. If you want to hire us for a project or long term, you can click on the Hire Us button, which is listed at the top right section of the website. If you enjoy our content, there are affiliate links listed down below and on our website under Client Portal. These offers will give you the discounts and deals on the products that we offer and recommend to our customers. Finally, please consider supporting us via the Patreon page. The link is down below. We'd like to thank all those that already support us, and Patreon helps us in creating even better and engaging content with our members.
Great to see you. What a wonderful turnout for this event. And I think Paul Alsop, who's back there, is saying, finally, I've lived to see this event. Drew Dilkin's announcing charging stations. And Paul has been on me for, how long have you owned a Volt, Paul?
10 years.
For 10 years, since the first day he bought his Volt, saying we need to start getting some charging stations in Windsor. And I was so proud that we were able to get one at the Aquatic Center when we opened that, but that was one. And so today is really exciting because we're adding a whole lot more than one to the network. And you can see behind me one of the Windsor-built Chrysler Pacificas. It is a hybrid. We own 6 of those. We bought them. We're starting to green our own fleet. And I'd like to thank, and I'm joined here today by Pino Mastroianni and Sean Hart. They're members of the Electric Vehicle Society of Windsor-Essex, and thank you guys for coming out to support us. Phil Roca is here. Where's Phil? I know I saw you. Phil is here, and Brandy from the Erie Street BIA. Thank you very much for being here. And Drew from Provincial Chrysler is here, the guy who sold us these wonderful minivans, and the owner, Hugo. Great. So happy you guys could join us here. This is a wonderful day, and it's great news for electric and hybrid vehicle owners in the city of Windsor. As the owner of an electric vehicle myself, I can tell you that I am really excited. Of course, I charge at home. I can charge underground at the city, but having the opportunity today to announce that we are installing 11 charging stations throughout the city of Windsor, that will add a total of 22 new charging spots for people who own electric vehicles and help incent people who have electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles in our community. And so during the initial stage of this project, the service will be available to drivers free of charge. And this will give our administration a chance to collect data that will help inform the future of electric vehicle transportation needs for our community. This is a $525,000 investment, and it's a small step that will help move our community forward by creating the public charging infrastructure that will make owning an EV in Windsor more attractive. I'd also like to thank Helga Rydell, who's here, President and CEO of Enwin, and Jim Brown, who is the Vice President of Hydro Operations at Enwin. He'll be here in a few minutes just to say a few words. And also joining us today, representatives from Precise Parking Link. Precise Parking Link, thank you for being here and bringing out the display model of what will be installed throughout the city of Windsor, including one right here in Via Italia. Now, just 5 years ago, there were only about 10 electric vehicles registered in the city of Windsor. Today, there are more than 400 full electric and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles on our streets, and that number is quickly rising. We need to ensure that our public infrastructure is keeping up with the growing and evolving transportation needs of our community. And City Council has committed $1.6 billion over 10 years to ensure that we do just that. As the automotive capital of Canada, this is certainly an exciting time for our city, and we are the proud home of the Canadian headquarters for Stellantis, who have pledged to invest more than $1 billion on electrification projects at its 2 Canadian assembly plants, including for new electric vehicle platforms to be produced at the Windsor Assembly Plant, where the Pacifica Hybrid is currently built. With 2 Ford engine plants in Windsor-Essex County and one of the foremost tool and die and automotive parts manufacturing hubs in the entire nation, our future here looks bright, and it certainly will be electric. Projects like the one we are announcing today are important. It builds on the tremendous progress that we have already made to place Windsor at the forefront of innovation in the vehicle manufacturing sector as we pivot to become the automobility capital of Canada. These new electric vehicle charging stations will be great for EV owners like myself and many others here today. And it's great, we were talking before we started this event, these are folks who brought their EVs, they all arrived, everyone is different. Every single one of them is different. And our own CEO of the city just traded in one electric vehicle for another, and we see it happening even with our own staff at the City of Windsor. And so there is true value in a project, and that true value here is much bigger than convenience and reliability. As we press forward with our Windsor Works diversification strategy, modern public infrastructure is critical to supporting the resilient economy and the healthy environment that we need for the future. The new electric vehicle charging stations we are announcing today take us one step closer to achieving our economic and environmental goals. I would like to thank Melissa Osborne. There's Melissa, Senior Manager of Asset Planning at the City of Windsor, and Project Manager Cole Nadeline for their work moving this important project forward. Thank you very much. Now I would like to welcome Jim Brown, Enwin's Vice President of Hydro Operations, to come to the podium to say a few words. Thank you.
Now this announcement's important because these stations help to give confidence to the public that they'll be able to find places to charge when they drive an electric vehicle other than their own homes. And we hope this will in turn result in more people buying and driving electric vehicles, which will lead to reductions in greenhouse gases and a better environment for the future generations that follow.
Thank you, Mayor Dilkins and the team at the City of Windsor for having us here today. On behalf of EV Society, Windsor-Essex Chapter, we would like to acknowledge and appreciate the initiative the City of Windsor has taken in leading to the construction of these 22 charging ports. It is great to see partners such as Edwin, ChargePoint, Precise Parkland Services making this project a success. It is with great optimism that accomplishments like these will continue in order to succeed in meeting necessary emission reduction targets. These charging stations and the growing public charging infrastructure give consumers the confidence to make the switch to electric vehicles and are important for consumers to have choices. That choice being clean, Ontario supplied electricity as a fuel, and much more efficient and cost-effective vehicles. These charging stations are needed for locals and visitors alike. Visitors often seek charging where they are spending time and money. While locals will do the same, some may not have home charging to depend on, where drivers of plug-in hybrids may benefit from charging up while running errands, eliminating the need for gasoline. Having multiple public charging stations to choose from is a necessity for pure battery electric vehicles. The timing for this could not be better, as EV sales have doubled in volume in recent quarterly sales, while gaining market share to 4.6% of new car sales. This effort supports local manufacturing, as we will soon be building a second and third EV in Windsor, and 6 others planned in other Ontario assembly plants. Windsor needs to continue to lead the way and be in the automotive capital of Canada. Congratulations, Windsor and team. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Jim and Pino. Thank you very much for those remarks. And let me just again say thank you to the team at Enwin. Helga, when we talked about this project, and I think this is, you know, Paul, just to let you know, this was an application we made for sponsorship, almost $500,000, a little over $500,000. I think it went back to 2018. And so it was just a process to get everything approved and sort of sanctioned and certified and have the check in our hand. But Helga and the team at Enwin certainly stepped up above and beyond the call of duty, and lots of conversations with Helga, and she understands the impact and the value in taking a leadership role here, and I'm sincerely grateful for the efforts of the Enwin team in making this possible. And to Pino's comments about charging infrastructure, it is, for those of you who own an electric car or need to plug in from time to time, it is a bit of economic development, because you're always looking for, you're planning your trip accordingly and want to be able to charge as you're dining or as you're going shopping. You want to be able to do that, and so it is very good for communities who are thinking forward in that way and installing the right infrastructure. But the real piece here that I think is worth enunciating before we take questions from the media is the economic development potential. And I draw your attention back to Windsor Works. I draw your attention to our history as the automotive capital of Canada, but our transition to the automobility capital of Canada. And folks, I can tell you there are great efforts by a lot of people in this community to help in that transition and position our city for future success. And of course, I look at the bridge construction, I look at the prospect of a $2 billion hospital, I look at, and you know all about the incredible development that's going on in our community. The next decade, we have a decade of prosperity in front of us, but beyond that, the stage is being set for this community to become very, very resilient, which was the entire goal that we set back in 2018 after the Oshawa plant was closed by General Motors. And we said we need to make sure we have a buffer in place. And we are working diligently on getting that buffer in place, and I can tell you that buffer involves electrification, it involves batteries, it involves all of the supply chain that surrounds that to help support our largest employer in the community, but to help bring other jobs to this community as well. And so this may seem like a one-off type event, and great, all of us who own electric cars, we're really happy because there's 11 more charging stations. I can tell you this is a significant piece of the ongoing puzzle to help make sure that our community is resilient and will continue to be successful for decades to come.